Therefore, I would like to invite the keynote speaker, Dr. Novita Dewi of Sanata Dharma University, and the chair of the second session, Dr. Gabriel Fajar Sasmita Aji. The floor is yours.
Well, good morning. Yeah, the second session of the seminar. Today we have someone who knows everything. Yeah, you know. That's why you must know her that she knows everything. Even the title of what is it? The article, Celebration of Life, Nature, and Literature. But in fact, Punovi knows not only literature. She knows education, she knows theology, she knows culture, and everything. Once again, she knows everything. And then that's why then I'm very nervous here because sitting next to someone who knows everything. Let me read the biodata of Punovi. Novita Dewi obtained her Ph.D. from National University of Singapore in 2005. And now she is one of the great pillars in the graduate program in English Studies, English Language Studies, Sanata Dharma University. And sorry, because I forgot my glasses. That's why then I must work hard to read this one. Then Punovi also had some awards, many awards. One of them, only one of them. But in fact, there are many. Yeah? From Indonesian government grants in 2015 and 2016. And she has published internationally with Asian Englishes, Critica Cultura, Al-Jamia. You know Al-Jamia, that's why she knows theology too. Yeah? Then Gema Online and 3L, as well as indexed nationally accredited journals. And her interest, research interest, post-colonial literature, popular culture, language education, and many more. On the first sessions, we had something that perhaps we think that as a human beings, we are bad species, but dangerous species, human being. But in this topic, I guess in the next topic, Punevita will give us something else from the different perspective. I do not want to tell more about this one because the floor is Punovi. Okay. Punovi, floor. Now the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the committee for having trusted me with one of the keynote speeches. And because the topic is environmental conservation, then the committee is very kind enough to preserve my photo of 15 years ago. Unpolluted, like Pasig River or Narmada River or Buriganga River. So, but it's the now and then. So, okay. I'm also glad because in the beginning, in our keynote, the keynote address explains to us the horrendous abuse that human beings have made toward our environment, especially rivers. And in the opening speech, the chair said and welcomed us in a blazing heat of Jogja. Truly, Jogja is no longer cool, it's hot. And then also, the dean started off by inserting a little sermon in his speech, that saying that, well, then we all disobey God's command. God saw everything was good, but now we know that God saw everything was awful and horrendous. So with that, then I'd like to start off by doing all the three, that is the pillar, talk about pillars of our report, LKD report. Dr. Citra, we as lecturers of Indonesian lecturers annually, no, not annually, every semester we have to report what we did and what we failed to do in terms of teaching, and research and community outreach. So the logic of my talk is based on that LKD. So I start with ecohumanism and then research, teaching, and reflection. I shall discuss briefly ecohumanism as a learning paradigm in this 21st century education. Yeah, that is the pursuit of ESG, education for sustainable development. The research I have done so far with a number of research teams convinced me that indeed our planet is not threatened, but the species are threatened. That is quite true. And then I will report my teaching activity using this paradigm, and then if time permits, yeah, Pak Fajar, stop me if you wish at any time. I'll show you how the same paradigm is useful in my engagement in community research. I just am one member of the team. And hopefully with that, I can share with you the way environmental issues are quite pliable and very sexy things to touch on in every walk of life. Okay, and that's the outline. And of course, like the chair said, Yogyakarta is burning, the earth is smoldering. And taking care of the divine creation is a moral obligation of all people from all faiths. People's care for plants, animals, and one another reflects human cooperation with God's plan. The head of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis, released this encyclical letter back in 2015, not only for Catholics, but for all who feel that everything on earth is connected to one another. So I can say that Laudato Si, meaning praise be to God, praise to you, Lord, can thus be seen as a document of ecohumanism, addressing as it does global imbalance whereby the rich multinational companies continue to indulge in the appetite to exploit nature at the expense of the poor, who are the most grieved because they are deprived of the otherwise bounty of nature. Dr. Chitra has shown us the polluted Pasig River and the Narmada River thanks to the development in the name of progress. So that's the starting point. And of course, people who share, regardless of their belief and faith, will feel that everything on earth is connected. Because if we don't love animals, if we don't love plants that live around us, hardly can we say that we love other people. And then if we don't love other people, then how can we proclaim that we love God? So that's just a very simple and basic logic of earth preservation. Then, if we agree that abuse to nature is abuse to human being, then we should strive for ecological conversion. We need to confess our sin. We need to confess things that we have done violence to our environment. We need to repent and sin no more. As such, education is the way to go. Education should transform people to live anew. And then, of course, at the heart of transformative education is empowering learners. Empowering learners to see the social world differently via an ethical lens so that they will challenge and change the status quo. They become agents of change amidst the environmental destruction that continues to challenge us, that continue to haunt us every step of the way today. So with that, then we believe that if we teach our students, then we transform them to better human beings who love animals and plants and thus other people and subsequently love God. So let me start with research. Allow me to share with you two types of research using ecohumanism as a belief system. In fact, I was inspired with the work of Dr. Wiatmi. Is here, would you please stand up for us, please, Dr. Wiatmi? Yeah, I was inspired with Dr. works with her work, with her colleagues, and I appreciate the team's persistence to instill the love of literature with her students in the Bahasa Indonesia department, in Faculty of Indonesian Letters. Students read Indonesian novels and literature across literary periods, and then they write book on it, and publish a very fine book. And this book won the Hibah, won the award from the government for 3 consecutive years because of the efficacy, because of the usefulness in fostering the understanding about the threat to our earth. And with that, then inspired by her research, then I start off by looking at a book, a very simple book that is familiar to any one of us interested in environmental issue. I took a book that would help me to raise environmental awareness. My choice was this book by the famous storyteller. Well, let me come to the paratextual analysis. And a quick look, we'll see that the book, seeing from the title, it is indicative of the book's concern for environment. So who is he? Well, let me see. Please bear with me because there it is. It doesn't show. Let me see. It's not connected. In fact, I would like to do some kind of advertising because this lady is invited to us, and then McDonald will be here to give a workshop on storytelling anytime in November. So I'm sorry, Bu Annie, I cannot show it to the audience today, but later, because in fact the book is here. Hang on. Oh, all right then. Well, MacDonald is a worldwide folklorist, so storyteller and children books expert, and she presents a storybook with comprehensive note on each story clustered with different ecological themes. And as you can see here, only one single story comes from Indonesia, from Bali. Gecko cannot sleep, and I decided to look at I did content analysis for this, looking at all the story, the theme, and try to group them into 2 main groups: pro people or pro nature. Why? Because even if the book is devoted to environmental awareness, still I can smell Anthropocene flavor in it, whereby in fact all the rich, all the abundance of natures are there for us, for people, not for not for other creatures. So Dr. Chitra shown to us, all the chicken and snakes all go for human beings' need. Never that they think this can go to sustainable purpose. Therefore, I clustered these stories into 2 main divisions, that mostly they are pro people rather than pro nature, and yet still this is something good. It's really a good start because that raised people's awareness about the necessity to care for our environment. So to me, it's really a good book to emulate. Therefore, the second type of so this one is the analysis, that mostly the book talk about people's need, and that basic needs are for people and for wildlife, and then that in fact they are interdependent one to another, and it is the responsibility of us to really protect our earth. So that's are the contents of this book. And inspired by this, then our team decided to write our own book for children. And I'm glad that I work together with Father Prapto Diharjo. He's a research team member. This is the nature-loving Jesuit who wrote a lot of books, especially for children and young people, writing drama to perform for Easter, for Christmas, and I'm glad to work with him because then he was able to help us write stories, and we decide on topics, realizing that mostly our texts are based on pro people rather than pro nature. Then we decide on looking for texts that really care for environment, and then how that how people's action give a direct impact to the environment, and the fact that we are connected to one another and nothing is without value. And of course, it sums up into the very important issue that is the destructive power of greed. Pope Francis said that in order to change, in order to protect the environment, it takes not only effort to do so, but some kind of ecological conversion. We have to be converted. Ourselves has to be changed. Otherwise, it's only a rhetoric. It's an empty wishful thinking. So you have to really change. You have to really convert and repent. Therefore, this issue of people's greed, people's lust for power, become one of the main theme in the books. So books, and here are the books. Book for children to read. The attempt is to awaken, and okay, hopefully it works now. Hopefully, please bear with me. It's not shown. It's shown in my laptop, but it's not shown there. Okay. So, simply don't know. It's not shown on the screen, but I don't know. Okay, but anyway, these books have animal characters. And indeed, that's okay, that's okay. No worries. Okay, let's just carry on.
Sorry, excuse me.
Sure.
I think it's like this.
Oh, really? Oh dear.
Yeah, somehow.
Okay, all right then. So stay with me, Patrice, and help me then. Come and sit down and then show me how. So this book for children are people with cats, dogs, and rabbits and elephants because they are funny and help the young mind to learn about care and compassion. That this animal could talk again is something, helps stretch our imagination. That they too are like human beings. They have rights to live. When such characters look selfish, we don't condemn them because they are animals. When they don't do good things to us, they cannot be angry with them because they are animals. So therefore, attempt is to make this book with animal characters. Okay, I shall try again.
Sorry.
So
May continue again?
this one?
Yes.
There it is. Oh, that one.
You can use the key. This one. Is that the next one?
No,
No.
uh,
Oh. Let me exit first, if it's okay.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, these are all the 3 books that we produce. Later, if you are interested, I can show it to you. And yeah, this is okay. Yeah,
It's
thank
okay.
you, thank you. I do hope that it doesn't change the flow of my talk for today because there will be something to show again. But if it's not on again, then that means the end of the show. Then let me see. Oh, there it is. Okay. for that. Okay, now I think I proceed to teaching. I proceed to teaching now, and okay. How can literature, in this case the teaching of poems, help capture students' imagination and motivate them to care for the environment? I need to put together all aspects needed to ensure that literature makes us human beings, not only become more human but eco-human, how to shift from ego to eco. So here's the framework. And a total of 27 students in my class participated in this research. And the students had earlier taken compulsory courses in literature, therefore hopefully they have some ideas about the goodness of literature. And I asked them to read a couple of poems. And my idea is to instill on them to really recognize the beauty of poetry and to help them raise awareness about the environment. And why metacognitive? I use metacognitive strategies here to help students understand the way they learn. And this is what I did, in fact, by giving them. I started off with poems about people and nature. They are all classic poems, familiar to all of you, and many of the poems are very much about people, not about nature. There are some metaphorical poems that talk about nature, but in fact they talk about people again. For instance, Fire and Ice, Fame is a Bee, Mending Wall, and many more. They are all not about nature, but more about people, as a starter only. And then after that, then I asked them to choose their own favorite poems. And among the 27 students, apparently many of them chose the very classic poem about people, Death by Emily Dickinson, then followed by again another Dickinson poem, You Cannot Make Remembrance Grow. And then, of course, I Don't Love You by Neruda, and From My Heart, a cyber poem, and their own poem. None of them chose nature poem. When they choose their own poem, they are not about nature, they are about love. Sad, isn't it? Yeah, but it means that when, and then I force them. I know that this is not a good sustainable education when I force. It should grow naturally. But there is no way, because I realized that nobody cares about nature. Therefore, I ask students to browse poems about environment. And there are many websites for that. Poem Hunter, Family and Friend Poems, My Poems. There are many in the website. And many of them chose this. I don't know, because this is the most accessible one, but all of them chose this one as one of the nature poems that they love. And indeed, it's a really lovely poem. And, and then I followed with a question, what really is a poem for you? And then, do you know any nature poem again, or simply because they go to the particular website, then they choose the poem, or they are aware of any other poem before? Then I ask them also with a very simple, blatant question, are you looking for the earth care message in the poems you chose? That is really very pragmatic question. But then I follow by the why and why not questions. And then, because they are students, they are pre-surface teachers, they are going to be teachers later on, then I ask them, will you use this poem? And later they become teachers. And then if they are not, and they don't want to do it, why? So they have to answer this question forcefully, of course. And then, then I make another because this is part of the metacognitive effort, yeah. So to get them into the system, to make them get the habit of writing and loving poem about nature. Then I ask them to write poems also, and then they usually start with a very simple one, either shape poems or acrostic poems to start with. And again, they use templates. It's okay, they use templates, but they are use template for writing nature poem, and that makes me slightly happy. And then these are two examples of the poems. They are not the best, but at least they make an effort. When the money is more important than leave, could every penny you have give you breath? The breath, this is not go, but it's important to hold. And then they wrote it on a shaped leaf, so it's not like this. I can transfer it here, but it was written on a shaped leaf. And then the other one is an acrostic poem. Earth is our heart, our life, all we need is already given by the earth. Remember, the earth is getting older and older. To thank the earth, love earth, help the earth to stay longer. Very simple, but at least they stopped writing poem about why I love you, why I miss you. But so at least they will divert from their ego of loving you, loving my partner, loving my family, to eco, loving my plants, loving my pets, yeah. So, okay, and if you can still bear with me, and then I will show my reflection. It's in fact, I have been participating recently with a community outreach from the Faculty of Economics. That was the river, the Progo River. It's a very long river and very historical river for people in Jogja. And on the south bank of the river, there was an illegal sand mining. And there was no policy to stop the mining. On the other part of the river, sand mining is illegal, but in this particular part, sand mining is okay. Then it's a business, and then that even the authority of the place has some kind of maybe gratification, perhaps, so that they close their eyes, they turn a deaf ear about that sand mining. And data show, thanks to the local people and who is close to the authority, can give us data about as many as around 1.7 hectare of area is already disappeared because of the water, of the rainwater. When it rains, then Progo River usually is flooding, and then part of the even dwelling area was washed away, and that is really really serious. And greening program probably is the way to go, and we decide on south soap tree, because this particular tree is seen to be very suitable for that nature of the land, which is rain-fed soil. Therefore, this particular tree is good to grow there. So therefore, we do that, and thanks to then one particular person who is actually okay, I'll show you. But then again, I don't know whether it will work. My fear if I will do the same. Oh, hang on. Patrice, could you give me a hand, please? How can I play this video, even if this short one?
Oh, it's a video.
It's playing? It's playing?
It's played.
But then, how? Just
You just leave it like
hit
that.
this?
Is the audio on?
I hope so.
I mean the audio of the...
Yes, yes. Well, one one of them, thank you, he's a puppet master, but he owns land inherited by his parents as big as 7 hectares of land, and that will become the last fortress that will be kept, preserved, and this person made an effort, Heru made an effort to gather people who are interested in building that land to become a land called Pulau Sigeni, because that will be the last frontier, so to speak. Otherwise, all the land in the bank of Pogo River will be washed by water. So he managed to make this as a tourist park, yeah, and there are a lot of activities there, and then we are involved there in. We plan to establish also childhood education or PAUD, yeah, with the Archdiocese of Semarang, because when we talk about ecological conservation, many people are interested, but not many people are interested in doing it. Because, okay, that is not my job. I can give you some money, but if I have to do it myself, okay, I give up. So a lot of grants are not many, but that is sufficient to run the place as a tourism park. And hopefully with that, more people are interested in taking care for our environment. And did it? Oh, okay, better stop it. Better stop it. Okay, hang on. Okay, now come to the conclusion then. Okay. Yeah, I think this is really, really real, that we are posed with problem of environment. I remember last year when our department visited Pak Ari's department, 2018, yeah, we went to Bandung. At that time was the heat of the election campaign, and we saw all the trees are punctured by nails with pamphlets of banner for, and then, okay, you tortured the tree as such, yeah, and then you said that you are a member of the house, and then even you are not kind to the trees that grow near you, and yet you pretend that you will be representing society. So yes, it's sad in Bandung, yeah, because we walk from we travel, yeah, from the city to Jatinagor, yeah, and then all the trees are all with nails and banner. That is really sad. But I'm sure that they were all removed by now, yeah, but not yet, still there, still stay. Wait for another 5 years then. So the challenge for our language and literature teacher for the millennial is to integrate, yeah, sustainable development goals more fully, to raise their awareness. So because I believe that competence in socio-linguistic proficiency must be duly accompanied by imaginative, innovative, as well as ethical capabilities. The word capabilities is very crucial. You have to be ethically capable. The 21st century education should promote this earth citizenship thinking. Given that, yes, then again, metacognition still will have using language and literature teaching, because young people today are often easily sidetracked, yeah, with gadget and then other inducement that may divert their attention to environment preservation. Who cares? It's easy for me to buy bottled water. It's only it costs me like 5,000 rather than bringing home with using our own bottle. Yeah. So again, this has to be done from now, and we also hope that the Pulau Sigeni that I showed you earlier in the not very good video will save our environment. We cannot do big, but we can do small thing, but with love, yeah, with passion. And now when celebration of nature, love and literature, these are ways to raise the value of life, I believe, yeah, to make human beings become more eco-human, I believe, yeah. Okay, let's turn the story, the cry ice cream to a nice treat, yeah, by treating environment nicely. Ladies and gentlemen, the American writer of the Romantic period was gratified that human beings are unable to fly. If they were, the sky would be just as polluted. So with Thoreau, I shall thank you all for bearing with me with the failed project of video and then book shows, but I hope that I send my message across that how important it is to raise awareness from our students so that they are thinking about their environment more fully. And of course, good literature will help. And then they have to make their own literature. They have to write something about environment. And to me, this is very effective. And then if ever we have a chance to involve in community outreach, then do it with ecological thing in mind. So with that, I conclude. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you, Bu Novi. You see, Bu Novi is very optimistic person, right? Yeah.
I have to, right?
I like her because she is very optimistic. And something interesting also about if you are very religious, then you love God. And if you love God, it means you should love people. And if you love people, you should also love nature. Interesting idea given by Punovi. But several days ago, we also had a discussion on post-humanisms. Yeah. Perhaps something missing from Punovi. Later you can have this as a question to her. Yeah? Post-humanistic, eco-feminisms. Yeah. Post-humanisms. Yeah. Okay. Next, the sessions for questioning and answering. I'll give you some rounds. The first rounds, I'm inviting 3 questions. Yeah? 1, 2, 3. Okay. The SOP, as usual, say your name, your affiliations, or where are you from, and the questions. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Rini. I am from English Department of Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. Fortunately, I'm one of lecturers who teaching English to young learners, and all of my research interest is about young learners and child-friendly storytelling. And so far, I've got 5 HKI about child-friendly storytelling, but related to character education. So I try to arrange the story and put the character education in living stories. Okay, and I'm interested in your presentation, Ibu. And to be honest, I have a very nice polo. Yeah, very nice friends who are interested in this research. Okay, my question so far, I have done 3 years research on this, and again the problem is from the teachers. Students is very easy because students depends on the teachers. My question is, how can we raise the students go green awareness or environmental awareness if the teachers themselves do not have good awareness in this? Okay, this is a very big problem, and until now, the teachers have the same difficulties. So once again, go green with the eco-education. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, Romo Hari.
Thank you very much, Munovi, for your optimistic view. Very good. The problem is about the gap between ideal and reality. In education, surely we are talking about the awareness, we are talking about the consciousness, about how to care with nature, how to love nature, God, human being, and nature. But in reality, it is different. Another is about, you mentioned about Laudato Si, about ecological conversion. That is not easy at all, because it needs really a radical change about that.
Yes.
I'll give you example. That is problem of global warming. Yeah, Al Gore made a video that became very famous, The Inconvenient Truth.
Yeah. Yes.
And one thing that he said that is very, very, I think very, what is that, surprising and also enlightening. What is it? He said like this: it is very difficult, extremely difficult, to make someone understand about something if his salary depends on his non-understanding. So that is the problem.
Yes, yeah.
If his salary depends on illegal logging, about burning the forest, about developing fossil fuel, about having all the car, about the factory of the cars, etc. It is very difficult to develop what? It's very difficult to develop the sustainable energy, the blue energy. They really refuse that because their money, their salary depends on their non-understanding. So because of that, they just not willing to understand. So that is, I think, the problem. The problem is how to make the bridge between awareness, between consciousness, to care the nature. It is very good, but in reality, there is a very big question with the real reality, the concrete reality. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Romari. The third, yeah.
Good morning, Ibu. My name is Michael from Graduate Program of English Language Studies. First of all, your presentation remind me of Cree proverb, that Cree Indian proverb that says something like this. Perhaps you have heard that only when the last river is polluted, the last tree is being cut, and the last fish is being fished, only will that happen will we understand that we cannot eat money.
Yes.
So usually human understand something when it is already too late, right? So I have only simple question, Ibu. I want to ask opinion. So the other day I have discussions with my friend who is currently taking doctoral degree in UGM, and we have discussion about eco-criticism theme, and there is some case that I want to need your opinion. So we understand that humans are destroying nature, right? And we are trying so hard so that our next generation is create sustainable nature. But in my discussion with him, there is some cases that the environment, the human already destroyed the environment so much that it's not replaceable anymore. So it's already broken, it cannot be fixed. That's all. There is no way to fix it because the past, I don't know, because the past actions or, so what is your opinion on that, Ibu? How we treat with this kind of problem when the environment is not replaceable anymore and there is no way to fix it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Ibu, yeah.
I guess very interesting questions from the three persons here.
Yeah.
Novi.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for all the three difficult questions, interesting questions. Well, I try to give some answers, whether they are right or not. Well, then that's beyond my capacity. But okay, I will address them one by one. From Ibu from UPF, may I have your name? Yeah, Burini, it's congratulations that you have written books and earned the Haki as well for all the books that you have. And that is just one step. It's a small step, but it will then lead to a bigger step and even marathon jump then, yeah. So I think this is good, but I know it's very hard to really get the students interested with such books maybe, and probably thanks to technology and young people, but millennials are very good. They can create perhaps like video like Dr. Chitra shown to us. I think it's good. Maybe you can then probably provide the e-copy of the book with all the animation that will make them more interested. But keep on writing books like that, and I know that you will reap the benefit. Maybe not now, but in the future when your children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren saw it, then they are very happy that, oh, my ancestors have contributed to us about earth preservation. So again, continue doing that, although the result is really very small when compared to the effort that you have put on it, but still keep on doing it. You are my bolo now, yeah. We are friends now, yeah. Okay, and then yes, Father Hari, even if you have problem, who am I to answer? Yeah, indeed, yes, to convert is very difficult, but I think, again, yeah, also Burini, teacher can only show the way, and then if you don't do it, then children or our students don't do it. If parents want children not to do something, they too have stopped doing that as well. So you can't just say don't do this, don't do that if your behavior doesn't conform with what you want your children to emulate. So you ask your students to write papers, to publish paper. You too have to publish paper. You have to ask your students to go green. You too have to make an effort to go green, to green yourself. Therefore, I don't think that that is not the better way rather than giving example. And for Father Hari, I know that many people are in the system, therefore they cannot escape. But we have to remember, we have to stop it somehow, because it is the poor people. This is the global imbalance that we are facing today. It is the poor people who suffer most. If the heat, the heating problem in Jogja, for instance, here, that the rich people can shelter themselves in an air-con room. But what about our kids who are very deprived? They can't shelter themselves when all the trees are cut down. And then then again, if we remember that the poor suffer, then probably our capability to show our compassion then will help. So concerted effort must be made from our heart, yeah? And then we have to give example. So that's probably, if you cannot convert people, who am I to convert people? Yes, but we join forces to do that. Otherwise, it's not easy. Yeah, and for Mike, yes, I really love that quote also, thinking of using the quote to end my discussion, but now that you raise it to us, that's good, very good. Thank you. Yeah, we realize that money that we are looking for is not palatable at all. We can't eat money. No matter how hard we are raising every day and day in, day out, we are looking for money. In the end, we find it unpalatable. We cannot eat money. Therefore, yes, and we need to think about that as well. And so, what is your question again then? In order to fix, okay, I don't know, but that will be my curhat then. Yeah, I share my feeling. I suffer glaucoma, right? And I cannot use my left eye anymore. And this is a problem that cannot be fixed because, yes, environment is also like that. And many persons concerning with ecology, they are very concerned about this irreversible damage. Yeah, that is the damage that cannot be undone. The only thing I can do is to take care of my right eye. Take care very carefully, because I will make a full use of my right eye. The same is true with environment. It is irreversible. Once it's destroyed, it's destroyed. That's the end of the story. But yet, there is still another story. The other side of the story is that you can still continue preserving and taking care of the environment. The one that is damaged is okay, and that can be a powerful reminder to us not to do more damage, but we can look after for the one that is still good. And the parable of the, it is connected to my condition, therefore I'm very optimistic still, Father. I'm very optimistic. It doesn't matter with my right eye only, it's okay, it's beautiful. I hope that I can only see the good side using right eye, and then I don't see any bad side with my left eye, then that's being optimistic. Okay.
No surrender, never give up. That's okay. We are opening the second round of questions. I'm inviting also 3 questions. Yeah. Come on, because there are many interesting ideas, things I guess that we can deliver, like what I said. What about science fictions? Yeah, science fictions in post-humanistic era, like today.
What time is lunchtime? That's the impending question.
Well, come on. No questions, yeah? What about question from me, Punovi? Yeah.
Yes.
While waiting for the other questions, yeah? So, dealing with literature you have delivered, then what about science fiction? Usually science fiction is
Yes.
is not about nature and something like
yeah.
this one. What do you think?
Yes, didn't I make a presentation during Hiski the other day, like last week, right? I showed 2 dystopian short stories. You see, it's easily lost now. 2 dystopian short story by Ray Bradbury. One is the pedestrian, and then the other one is the All Summers in a Day. They talk about dystopian novels whereby people are so much involved in technology. They admire technology. They put technology on a pedestal, only to find that they are actually right on by technology, and technology is not the answer. So that make us aware that there is something that we need to rethink about the use of technology. Dystopian and science fiction remind us about the horrendous impact if we put so much hope on technology. It's not the answer. So I think science fiction give us this kind of warning, and that's good. So hence the dystopian instead of utopian society that we create, everything become very nightmarish because of our so much reliant on technology. So I guess that one, I don't know.
Yeah, very interesting. Technology is not the answer. Yeah. Perhaps technology is not the only answer. Yeah. Because later perhaps many people will be angry if we have this one. Technology is not the only answer, I guess.
Yeah. In my talk last week, I quote Yuval Harari. I'm not into him, but he said that unless you know what you do in your life, then you can really make use of technology. If you don't know what you do in your life, then technology will master you, will control you. So therefore, we have to be very clever in using technology, and then that one perhaps will help us to see the world more optimistically. Yeah.
Yeah. Technology which is pro nature rather than pro people. Yeah.
Is there any?
Well, now we are opening the third round of questions. If there is no questions, then I'll stop the discussion. Okay, 1, 3 questions.
Thank you, Punovi. My name is
Okay.
Henricus. Thank you for the enriching talk and inspiring talk.
Sorry, sir, will you say your name first?
My name is Henricus from
Henricus.
UNES, State University of Semarang. So I have just a brief comment, and also I just want your brief explanation, since looking at your presentation and what you have done with the community services and the importance of ecology for all individuals. So what do you suggest to how to raise public ecological awareness? Do you think that it is necessary to give ecological education for public? So that's also probably related to Father Harry's question. So in order to control humans' excessive desire to exploit nature. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Pak Henricus. I know personally that you are interested in such issues since long time ago, where people don't really care about ecology, and I'm sure you know the answer, right? And well, I think the use of ecohumanism as a paradigm that will help. That becomes the vein. That would become the leitmotif, that we do things, we do research, we do teaching, we do our community service based on that. And then again, teaching by giving example is the best way, I think. And yeah, I think this is also one way to reduce consumerism. We don't need to wear new clothes if we don't need it. If we don't need to consume more if we don't need it. And then I think that will be follow the nature of bee. The bee is the bee gets honey from flower, but never destroy the flower. Just take the bee, and then the bee has sweetness and light. That's very old cliche thought about giving light, candle, and giving sweetness, honey. So I think, but I think this is again one way to protect our nature, to stop our lustful desire to consume more and more. Yeah. We consume too much now, I think. So then if we reduce, I think the conference is good by providing bottles and we rather than bottled water. And I don't know whether our food is served using our own plates or not. And that will be one way, I think. But I don't know if that answers your questions.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And as literature teachers, then we can teach a lot of stories, although some stories are very taxing, like what Dr. Chitra gave to us. They are very difficult stories sometimes, and it seems that they are very exclusive for exclusive reader, but then the analysis will help, and then exposing more and more. Therefore, I mentioned metacognitive, so that they get the habit of doing it. There is this kind of self-regulatory learning. And that I know that this is very behavioristic, but we take it as a way to discipline ourselves. So somehow there is not always wrong to become quite forceful to our students, to our fellow members in the department, in society sometimes, and it begins with us, I guess. Yeah.
In fact, we still have more or less 10 minutes to talk. If you still have questions, then I do not want to stop. Otherwise, then I'll stop this.
But I think the ideology is don't consume. If you don't need to, then stop. Don't consume more than you need to. Yeah.
I guess everyone agrees here with Punovi's idea. At least as someone who is very optimistic in facing the future. Though we belong to the late generations, but we are not late to face the future because technology is not the answer. Yeah, the answer is us. Okay, let's have big applause to Bu Novi. Thank you, Bu Novi, and thank you all of you.
And now I would like to present the token of appreciation. The token and certificate will be presented by Dr. Anda Sirmawan Wisanarka as the head of English Letters Department of Universitas Sanata Dharma and Ibu Anna Fitriati.